Hey guys, it's Noah Wilson and welcome to our special Halloween in Ireland broadcast. Thank you all for joining us today. We are coming to you live this afternoon on the East Coast and morning on the West Coast. Well, in just a few moments, we will be going live to travel expert Gabe Saglie, who will be joined by colorful characters, including a witch, I love a spooky witch, and historians specializing in Irish Halloween traditions. But first, I want to share with all of you a special event happening in Los Angeles this weekend. LA Opera presents Frankenstein with live orchestra at the theater at the Ace Hotel. We spoke with composer Michael Shapiro and two singers from the special, Madeleine, Lyon, and Alan Williams. Here's a look at what they had to say about the two-night event happening this Friday and Saturday. Take a look. LA is having a special two-night event for all Halloween fans. The LA Opera's Frankenstein with live orchestra at the theater at Ace Hotel is having a big event that you do not want to miss out. We have some of these singers along with composer Michael Shapiro joining us this morning. First off, let's speak with Madeleine, Lyon, and Alan Williams. They are the singers that will be part of this extraordinary live performance of Frankenstein. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
First off, congratulations on being able to be part of an extraordinary live orchestra with Michael Shapiro. He has been in the business for so long, but first off, how is it like to actually use your voices with the help of others to make Frankenstein the ultimate audience experience for this iconic film? We will start off with you first, Madeleine.
Yeah, it's been so much fun getting to collaborate with each other, with the other singers. We haven't done it yet with the movie, so we'll see how that all is going to work out, but I know it's going to be so exciting. I think it's also been really great getting to collaborate with Maestro Shapiro and just try and bring his vision to life, but also being a part of this experience is just amazing, yeah.
Fantastic. Alan?
Yes, and it's really exciting. I'm really excited to continue to, dive into this film, this score a little more this week. It's going to be a really unique experience for all of us, especially for the audience. I feel like for me personally, I've never used my voice in this way to sing in a live action soundtrack. So it's going to be amazing.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Well, the Monster's home here in LA for the first time since 1931. We're bringing the Monster back to the Ace Theater, downtown LA, which was built by the United Artists, Barry Pickford, Charlie Chaplin, Douglas Fairbanks Sr., and D.W. Griffith as their flagship theater in their office building. The Ace Hotel is now that hotel that took over the office space, and they restored the 1927 historic theater. A theater that's historic as the film itself. The interesting thing about the original film Frankenstein, a talkie 1931, as you know, did not have a film score. They didn't have the technology yet to add that second track on the celluloid. Not until 1933, with Frankenstein's horror successor, King Kong, was there a through composed film score by Max Steiner. Later, of course, wrote great film scores, including Gone with the Wind. But the first through composed film score was then. So in 31, they had the technology of sound. Remember, it's alive, and Boris Karloff going, "Arr!" But there is no music. So the movie is creaky, and it says Leonard Maltin in his reviews of classic films. Mm-hmm. So I added a film score, which was commissioned by the Film Society of Lincoln Center's Adjunct Theater in northern Westchester County, where I live in New York. And we did it in 2002 to open that theater. And since then, it has gone on to become the most famous score of its kind, literally in the world, performed all over the place. Opened the festival in Norway.
That's incredible.
In Milano, I just did it in the Theater Trier on the Moselle River. And recorded the overture with the great City of Birmingham Symphony in the UK. This season's being done all over the place, but
Los Angeles. It's never been done in LA.
Never done in LA, except in 1931 when the original film was first produced. And this is a premiere. This is the fourth version. Remember, there was a 15-player chamber orchestra, a full orchestra version, a wind ensemble version. But now, and those were Frankenstein the movie score, but now we have Frankenstein the movie opera.
That's
Opera?
awesome.
Wait a minute. We have an opera with a film.
Now, Michael, we recently saw you and the orchestra at rehearsals today. We're taking a look at some more of the footage that we have, but are you feeling confident about Friday's big opening performance for the two-night event?
Oh, I'm feeling extraordinarily confident and competent because, number one, the six singers I'm working with are extraordinary. The staff here at the LA Opera is extraordinary. The LA Opera Orchestra is extraordinary. And our togetherness is going to create something totally unique. I am so happy.
Well, Michael, I'm beyond excited for you. I think audiences that have purchased tickets for this two-night event, this will be their highlight for Halloween this year. But what do you find fascinating about Frankenstein's music score that you hope audiences will as well?
Well, here's the great trick. I mean, I'm working here with staff that really knows their business.
Yeah.
The top professionals in the industry. And for example, the recording engineer, Martine, and I've been working, and he is going to mix all of my voices and all of the orchestra with the film words. So it's going to be one mix. So you can imagine you're sitting there in the audience and the sound is coming towards you of what's happening in the film. And my score is in the sound coming out of the speakers in this historic theater where the monster is coming home to LA.
And who gets to say that they get to do this except Michael Shapiro?
Well, the score is taken off. It is, again, as I mentioned, the most successful of its kind in the world. And now it'll be over 60 performances, but the premiere of the opera version is here in LA, and it's rightfully so in LA, in this historic theater, where James Whale created this with Colin Clive and Boris Karloff and that stellar cast. Do remember that Frankenstein 1931 is in the American Film Institute list of 100 greatest films. And I firmly believe that this is the greatest horror film ever made because it's sensitive. The monster, you care for the monster, even though he's a murderer.
Yeah.
He gets soul. Where does his soul come from? He's from dead parts, but he's resurrected by this Dr. Frankenstein. And then he takes on literally a life of his own. So Karloff made this creature into just something that is unique. And James Whale is extraordinarily sensitive in this direction. It's a genius film.
Michael Shapiro, thank you so much. Be sure to get your tickets to LA Opera Presents Frankenstein with live orchestra at the theater at Ace Hotel. Visit their website, laopera.org/Frankenstein. Tickets are limited as they are selling out quick. So if you want to go this weekend, you guys, be sure to go to that website and get your tickets today. Thank you so much, Michael. You take care and have a great day. And thank you for a great conversation this morning.
Happy to be with you, and thank you for having me. And remember, the monster's coming home soon, so be there.
By the way, just a little show and tell, I dressed up as Frankenstein this year as I got to participate in the Kelly Clarkson Show's virtual Halloween audience. There I am right there, all green, but you know, I will say, taking all that makeup off, it was not fun afterwards at all. Oh my goodness, and my face was so sore for at least 2 days straight. Well, I think we are just about ready to go live now to Gabe Saglie for Halloween in Ireland. We're all going to sit back and relax and watch a special broadcast live. Grab the Halloween candy bowl, grab your favorite treats. I'm going to grab some pumpkin pie, but let's go ahead and throw it to Gabe from Ireland right now. Let's watch.
I'm good. I'm better now. Talking to you.
We love you, Noah. I'm looking at everything you got going on in the background, and good vibes for sure.
Yeah, be yourself because everyone else is already taken.
And now we want to hear more from those of you who are watching today. Canada's in the house because Denise is in Thunder Bay. Alea is in Toronto. And Trish is in Kitchener. By the way, for those of you in Canada, there are 3 major gateways that get you out to Ireland. That's Vancouver, that's Montreal, that's Toronto. Post-pandemic, I think Ireland becoming one of the international spots, seeing more and more flights being added out of North America. In fact, we've got about 20 different flights, gateways that have got dozens of flights out to Ireland, and more being added every day. If you're just joining us, this is an exclusive broadcast, Halloween in Ireland, brought to you by Travel Zoo and our friends at Tourism Ireland. Now, we've been on the ground for a couple of days now, and one of the things that brought us out here was this idea that with so many wonderful structures, Trim Castle included, obviously, castles, manor houses that date back hundreds and hundreds of years. Many of them are riddled with stories of things that go bump in the night. And we've got on the hunt for locations that are purportedly haunted. And I want to share with you some of our finds here over the last couple of days. All right, this is Duckett's Grove. Have you been here? This is in County Carlow to the south, built in 1745, burned down in the 1930s. But because of a curse issued here, I think about 150 years ago, right there on the tallest tower of this structure, a banshee lives. And if you visit in the heart of night, you will hear her screeches, her howls, piercing the night air. You've got to be brave to do it. I visited during the day, so I didn't necessarily pick that up. But at night, we hear stories that there at Duckett's Grove, an architectural marvel anyway, a banshee does live. Now, this is Huntington Castle and Gardens, also in County Carlow. I spent the night here. Brave of me to do, because in the attic of this home, which dates back to 1645, and it's been with the same family since 1645, the ghosts of soldiers live. I spent the night right underneath that attic. It was actually a bit of a short night for me, but I survived. But again, beautiful home, very hospitable family there, and an example of one of those haunted places. And this is a Shankill Castle, which is in County Kilkenny. Visited the Cope family here. They bought it back in 1990. There's a graveyard on this property, and there is a curse presumably on this property because a priest was shot here by the lady of the house about 150 years ago or so. And there's a legend around the curse that this priest bestowed upon this house. I spoke with Reuben Cope, one of the owners, and here's what he had to say about that legend.
The family here had created a curtilage around the estate. They built a wall around it, cutting off a right of way to the graveyard, and this caused a lot of consternation in the community. And the priest was probably the most vocal, and he was the one that was shot by the lady of the house, when he was trying to walk through the property to get to here. There's an old gate that's down on the road. His dying words were, "Grass will grow on the avenue and the gates will never close." It was a curse, So to this day, grass grows on that avenue, and the gates, in fact, had to be concreted closed because they kept opening. So the gates are not quite plumb, or they're not quite closed. They're still sort of open a fraction.
And it's true. I was there, and that little gate is actually still open. I'm going to introduce Kira here just a little bit. Denise is in Boston. Kevin is watching us from Brooklyn right now. If you're watching us, let us know. We want to do a shout out to you. We want to know what your Halloween traditions are. Have you been out to Ireland for Halloween? Shouldn't you, though? There's still probably time for some of you, if not now, certainly next year. This is my friend Kira Saglie, and you are the Director of Festivals for Fáilte Ireland. And for folks who might not know, Fáilte means
welcome,
which is what you feel anytime you come to Ireland, right? And how important are festivals generally, I'd say, to the Irish experience, because they're happening year-round?
We have hundreds of festivals happening right throughout the country. And of course, some of our bigger festivals like St. Patrick's Day be well known. And of course, now Puca is becoming such a huge festival. And I think what people like, we have hundreds of thousands of people who come to Ireland. And what they love about festivals here is that you can really get into them, you can become immersed in them, engage with the Irish people and really enjoy them. And it's about having fun and yet maybe learning and taking something home with you, taking home that experience and those memories. So that's why people really, I suppose, love coming here, and our festivals are really successful as a result.
Well, hundreds of thousands of people come out to enjoy festivals in Ireland, a major infusion into the economy here, and it's a great way to get to know the artists, the chefs, some of these industries that have really blossomed, especially in the last couple of years. I know you're working on the New Year's Eve festival there. I saw you earlier today. Yes. But today, it's all about Halloween, and I was here for the very first Puca Festival in 2019, right here in Trim. It had to take a bit of a pandemic pause, yes. But in 2022, Puca Festival is back.
With a bang, absolutely. And we have the biggest program we've ever had for this. So we have a huge range of experiences involving history and culture and heritage and all of that, and lots of music and fun. And it's really about that kind of fun and feasting and fire, and we have processions. And if you come here, you can take part in the procession and be part of it and really enjoy it. Go up to the Hill of Ward and see that place where it all began. Yeah. And as Dr. Kelly was talking about, really get immersed in that and really get the sense of that thinning veil at this very special time of year.
And there's Puca. I mean, she's spooky. She is a shapeshifter, and she could bring you good luck. She could bring you bad luck, but either way, you wanted to behave if Puca was around. By the way, Puca could be making an appearance before all is said and done here. She may be on her way with some of her mythological friends, so you want to stay tuned for that. We're making a return here, and I think that what you mentioned, that interactivity of a festival like Puca makes it so special, because it is spectacular with the parade and the artists and the musicians and the comedians and the flamethrowers and the acrobats, but you can really immerse yourself in that, and that's where Falcha, that sense of welcoming, it really comes back all over again.
Sure, and that's what people really enjoy about it. And I think it's a great time to visit Ireland because there's great value. You can come and see places that might be a little bit off the beaten track and that might be a little bit undiscovered, and see things like Trim Castle right here behind us. Another great time is Thanksgiving. If you can't make it for Halloween, come for Thanksgiving, because there's so much happening as well around that time of year, and you can really get immersed in those lovely, great music sessions and fireside and cozy and all of that. So it's a great time to visit the country.
With 70 million people around the globe claiming some degree of Irish heritage, I like this idea of Thanksgiving, and it's a U.S. only holiday. For the folks watching in the States, we're seeing, again, we talked about more and more of these flights being added. When I took my overnighter from Newark on United, it was about a 5.5, 6 hour flight. I fell asleep on the plane. I woke up. I'm in Ireland. And so it's this idea, and especially now that flight prices have dropped so dramatically after the summer, I think the idea of Thanksgiving in Ireland sounds pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, it's really good value here now, because at that time of year, it's not a traditional time for other people to come here. So there's some really great value in our hotels and our restaurants, etc. So, and there's lots happening as well, because winter time and winter in Dublin, we have lots and lots of activities. And it's a time when people come out and really want to enjoy culture. We have a lot of different festivals on at that time of year too, so there's always a festival on.
That is true, and this is the person with her team who put them all on. All right, thank you so much, Ciara Sagrie, head of festivals for Falcha, Ireland. Thank you very much for joining us today and sharing some of that that appeal that Ireland has, especially this time of year. I want to say hi to Chastity in Dallas, and Dahlia is in Fort Worth, and Zoe is in Michigan. Again, if you're watching us, we want to hear from you. You use that comment box below. You tell us who you are, where you're watching. Share a Halloween story. Is Halloween your favorite holiday of the year? I believe it. And of course, if you are a part of our show, if you join us by connecting with us on that comment box, you're in the running for an exclusive giveaway at the end of the show. The new Irish table. A fantastic cookbook. I've got a copy of it at my own home, which it really could have snapshots the fact that there is a culinary revival afoot here in Ireland, and you can tap into it yourself by trying some of these great foods at home. And we'll be talking about some great foods here in just a little bit. Now, we talked about Puca Festival here in Trim, but it's an island-wide event, of course. And to the north here in Northern Ireland, in the city of Derry, I want you to meet a really good friend of mine, someone who's been celebrating Halloween for thousands of years. It's Winifred the Witch. And Winifred, and by the way, Winifred looks better century after century. It just blows me away. But Winifred, you're there in Derry. You must be especially excited about Derry Halloween 2022.
Oh, absolutely, Gabe. We're so excited for Derry Halloween this year. There's lots of spooky treats in store for everybody, and they're just getting prepared now to host Europe's biggest Halloween party.
By the way, I think Walter's escaped there. You, Winifred, you might want to make sure that, he's put back in chains. A bit of a camera hog. Winifred, so USA Today names Derry Halloween the best Halloween party in the world, which is quite an accomplishment. This is a 3-day affair this year, and it's spectacular. I mean, I was there actually last year for sort of a soft return post-COVID, but it really is about immersing yourself in this energy of Halloween for 3 straight days.
Oh, absolutely, Gabe. You can come to the city, and there are 3 nights of spooky spectacle, all housed within the city's ancient 400-year-old city walls. It really is very magical. And on All Hallows Eve, they even host a huge parade filled with lots of delightful little children, all dressed up in creepy costumes.
Yeah, I know you caught yourself there.
Gabe, the very best thing about Derry Halloween is the people. They all get dressed up, young and old. It's perfect for someone like me. I blend right in.
I bet you do. I mean, you've been at it for thousands of years, so you've got this down pat. And rumor has it that the very first Halloween parade in the world took place there in Derry, and I think it was in 1985, not too long ago for you, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Now, it's changed so much over the years. What started out as a tiny little fancy dress party in a local pub, 3 decades later now sees tens of thousands of people come to the city for spooky celebrations. I remember it well, Gabe, back in 1985. Myself and around 50 other revelers were at this fancy dress party. Now, apparently, the man who owned the pub said that anyone who wasn't in costume wasn't getting in. Well, I didn't get the memo, but no one seemed to notice.
Oh, no, you
Later
are.
Later that evening, we all found ourselves out in Derry's very first Halloween parade. And the Derry people, always a fan of tradition, have kept it going every year since.
I love it. I love it, and that's why USA Today did name Derry Halloween the greatest Halloween party on the planet. And I think part of that reason, Winifred, is the fact that you are part of that and are part of that festivity and carry that energy throughout the entire 3-day affair. Derry Halloween 2022 back with a vengeance. You've got some more haunting to do, I believe, Winifred, so thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Gabe.
Winifred the Witch there from Derry in Northern Ireland. If you're just joining us, this is an exclusive broadcast across all of the Facebook platforms around the world for Travel Zoo and Tourism Ireland. It's called Halloween in Ireland, coming to you live from Trim here in County Meath. And a big thank you to our friends at the Trim Castle Hotel. We are on their rooftop right now. There's no better vantage point for those of you who want to take in those views of beautiful Trim Castle, one of those historic places here in Ireland dating back to 1172. You know, you can access these grounds for free. You can go all the way to the top there and really immerse yourself in the history that remains alive and well hundreds of years later. Again, if you're watching us, let us know. We want to call your name out live here on here, like James, who is, Hannah is in London. Jenny is watching. She's going to get married here in Ireland. Fantastic. Samantha Loud is watching us from Connecticut. Tasha Jordan watching us as well. If you let us know you're watching and where you're watching from, again, you're going to be in the running for an exclusive giveaway at the end of the show, which is the new Irish Table Cookbook. We'll be giving away a few copies of that in just a little bit. Now, we talked about a couple of haunted manor houses and castles and etc. But there are also full-on cities, destinations that are haunted as well. And I've got a chance to visit a couple of those over the last couple of days. Let me tell you a little bit about Cork. Cork City, which is to the south of Ireland, and it's got a variety of different destinations within the city that are purportedly haunted, including this magnificent place. This is a Cork jail, which was built back, it opened up in 1824. It was a jail for men, women, and children, mainly petty thieves. A lot of the kids who would have been in here for several weeks at a time is because they had been caught stealing multiple times, and they were in need of reform. And then later it became a women's only jail until it closed in 1923. But I was on these grounds. Again, it's a beautiful structure, so definitely worth visiting, but plenty of stories of light orbs and strange sounds. And there is the vision of a lady called Olive who's seen at the window and who then disappears. And then I got a pint here at the Franciscan Well Brew Pub right along the River Lee. It sits on what used to be a monastery back in 1219. The stone wall still exists there. And there are multiple monks who are buried here, as well as a chieftain and his soldiers. And right here on the second floor tasting room, presumably the ghosts of these monks can still be heard. You can hear their footsteps. I spoke with the general manager there, Michael Sheehan, to hear what he had to say about his own personal experience around the ghosts of the Franciscan Well Pub.
My own personal story would be that it happened to me maybe 4 or 5 years ago when I was locking up one night, fully convinced. I locked some of the doors up in the office, came back downstairs to lock up the rest of the building, and one of the doors slammed upstairs. So I said, did I leave the window open? Was there a gust of wind or something? So I said, I'd come back up and check. So first door was open, which shouldn't have been. Second door was wide open, definitely not. It should have been definitely locked. So locked them up again, checked all the windows, checked the other doors, went back downstairs, locked the door down at the end of the stairs, and the door upstairs slammed again. And that was enough. Ran out.
That's all you needed.
Left the lights on, ran out the door, didn't turn the alarm on, nothing. Footprints. That's what you hear. All the time. Sometimes you just have that feeling that there is somebody there with you, or there's somebody looking at you. You know, you just get the hairs on the back of your neck stand and stuff like that, and it's like, there's somebody up here with me, like.
Pretty spooky. Now, I was there, and I didn't necessarily hear the footsteps, but beer was pretty good. Franciscan Well Brew Pub there in Cork City. If you're watching us now, you're watching Halloween in Ireland, brought to you by Travel Zoo and Tourism Ireland. We're live today here in Trim, right across from Trim Castle, at the Trim Castle Hotel rooftop. And this is Melissa Hayward, who is the creative director of Puca Festival that we told you about just a few moments ago. And rumor has it you're a pretty big fan of Halloween.
Yeah, I think I'm probably the biggest fan of Halloween, Gabe. I'm obsessed with it. I live it all year round, so.
And when you became creative director for this year's Puca Festival, as it makes its grand post-pandemic return, how big was the document that you turned in with ideas for the festival this year?
It was 26 pages long, Gabe. that was like within hours of getting this job. It was all in my head. I just needed to put it on paper.
So I know it's been tough, for so much got paused over the pandemic. So to bring something like this back, this kind of spectacle, must be super exciting. But what it does for us is sort of reminds us about some of these stories, some of these mythical creatures that we've heard about. I know we have. Let's meet some of our friends who've come in, and then maybe tell us a little bit about some of the stories behind some of these sort of creepy critters.
Yeah, creepy characters. So we have the Fardarrig, the Fardarrig is said to be the leprechaun's kind of evil cousin. That's our red man over there.
Yeah.
We have the the Morrigan, who is the goddess of war and battle cry. She's often depicted as a crow. We can see lots of crows behind us at the castle. And then we have our Puca herself. The Puca is a trickster and she's mischievous, and she's a shapeshifter. She can sometimes take the form of a hare or a black horse or a dog or sometimes a cat, even sometimes a snail. And then we have the Boan, who is the goddess of the River Boyne, which is flowing right behind the castle here behind us. So those are our wonderful characters.
And what's great about these guys is that these will be part and parcel to the experience over the next several days as Puca Festival descends on the city of Trim, culminates on, of course, Halloween Monday, and then there's that immersive aspect to the whole thing where you get to partake in have some of this, sort of creepy fun with some of these creatures. And it's also about the food, because I think what we do this time of year is to remind ourselves that there are these traditional foods that become part of the Halloween experience. A lot of folks watching now would be familiar with some of these, but they have their roots here in Halloween. Walk us through some of these delicious foods.
Okay, so Halloween is a big time for feasting. Traditionally, it would have been the end of the harvest.
Yeah.
So it's when all the harvest came in and everyone had lots and lots of food to feast on. Apples are a big part of it, and apples are a big part of a lot of the Halloween games. So Halloween would be a great time for fortune telling and marriage divination. So apples would be used for that a lot. There's a great game where women would try to peel an apple in one go, throw the apple peel over their shoulder, and the letter it landed in would be the first name of their true love.
And I noticed the barmbrack there, which I love.
Yeah, I love barmbrack too. Barmbrack and Kilcannon are both traditional Irish Halloween foods. So the barmbrack is a tea brack. It has lots of fruits and spices in it. And then Kilcannon is generally mashed potato, lots and lots of butter and cabbage in it. But both of those things would have different things hidden in them. And if you get the different things in your food, it means something. So, for instance, we all probably know the ring in the brack, and that would mean that you'd probably get married. But then before, we would have had things like a thimble, which would mean you'd probably be a spinster. A stick would mean you would have marital problems. There would be a coin would mean you're rich, and a rag would probably mean that you wouldn't have too much money.
Right. So you want to go for the coin.
The coin, yeah. I think so. But you've no say.
Yeah. So again, some of these great traditions on the table, some of these characters you hear in stories, and a reminder that Halloween certainly is something we all love, but again had its origins here in Ireland. Melissa Haywood, thanks so much. She's the creative director of Puca Festival, which makes its grand return this weekend here in beautiful Trim. Thank you so much, Melissa. And it reminds me, by the way, when it comes to food, don't forget, if you haven't eaten in Ireland lately, I mean, some of these, there are 21 Michelin-starred restaurants throughout the island of Ireland. The eating has gotten amazing. Thanks so much, Melissa. All right, I want to say hi to Louisa in New Jersey. She's watching. And, of course, we've got our friend Dave in Bellingham, Washington. Great to see you. Eve is watching us in England. And Catherine is watching. Rochelle is coming here in the summer. Great time to come, of course. I like coming out here in what we call the shoulder season. And you'll find a lot of great Travel offers, especially in that spring and fall period when the temperatures drop a little bit, but the crowd's thin. And that's kind of what we are now in the middle of what we call a shoulder season. Just a great time to be able, and it's easier to budget a visit out here as well. Okay, so I told you about Cork City as a haunted destination. I also visited Kilkenny, which I know a lot of you love, but Kilkenny's got its own sort of mystique around the spooky and the haunted. In fact, this is where the first witch trial in Ireland happened back in 1324, and there are stories there on the river of apparitions that are the ghosts of victims of a 1763 bridge collapse. This is my friend Nevin Cody. He runs a tour called Shenanigans Tours throughout Kilkenny year-round, but especially popular, I think, during this time of year because he takes everybody to some of these spooky locations. Those walls there that date back to the 13th century are part of this walk. He was leading a group of meteorology experts from around the world who were in Kilkenny earlier this week, and they got to know a little bit about the hauntings throughout the city of Kilkenny. Of course, Kilkenny Castle has its own couple of stories that people have told me over the years. But again, an example of one of those many destinations around Ireland that are purportedly haunted, that embrace this notion that Halloween started here, and it's enough for many folks to want to plan a trip out here, certainly year-round, but especially this time of year to tap into and embrace some of those stories and some of that history and some of those traditions as well. And in a city like Trim, I think would fit that fact perfectly too. And so that is it, my friends. Halloween in Ireland. That was a fast 30 minutes. This has been an exclusive Facebook Live event brought to you by Travel Zoo and Tourism Ireland. You've been watching us on our global platforms on Facebook, especially in the U.S., the U.K., and Canada, but also a lot of you from all over the world. I want to say a big thank you, of course, to Tourism Ireland. I want to say thanks to Fulcher Ireland for their hospitality. I want to say thanks to my colleague from the U.K., Kat Jordan, for producing this broadcast, for all of the actors and all of the performers who have brought some real color and brought these stories and these ideas to life. I want to thank Paul Daniel. He's a Dublin-based videographer who got pretty much all of the video that you saw there. He and I traveled across about 1,000 miles this week, capturing all that. That was a heck of a lot of fun. Thanks to the Trim Castle Hotel for letting us take over the rooftop today. And don't forget, Puca Festival is back in Trim. Derry Halloween is back in Derry in Northern Ireland. And we want you back in Ireland as soon as you can get out here. Don't forget, we are seeing more and more flights being added out of the U.S., out of Canada, out of the U.K. So no excuse not to come out here and embrace your Irish roots, or just embrace these wonderful stories, certainly around Halloween and year-round. Ireland.com for all things Ireland. TravelZoo.com for the world's best member deals that'll get you out here to Ireland. I'm Gabe Saglie. I'm senior editor for Travel Zoo USA. Thanks for watching, and happy Halloween to you.
What a phenomenal show. Thank you, Gabe, for sharing your insights to how Ireland celebrates the big spooky holiday, Halloween. You all, thank you for watching us live. It was so nice to sit back, watch, relax, and read your comments. You guys are the sweetest. We hope you enjoyed the half-hour show with us today. And be sure to catch my big Halloween show. It's coming up in the coming days. You don't want to miss out on who I'm going to dress up as. I will be unrecognizable. It will be so much fun. I cannot wait. Have a great day and happy Halloween. And we will see you back here next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.